Good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank each of the speakers for taking part of the conference. I also would like to thank all of you for participating in the event. I hope you are looking forward to discussions as much as I am. This is the 5th year of our conference. Our conference is entitled as a Graduate Student Conference on Energy and Sustainable Development, and it is held in Kadir Has University. The main name of the conference is to gather and graduate students and give them opportunity to familiar with the energy field. Today we have 4 sessions and 15 presentations. The sessions are entitled as Energy, Security and Geopolitics, Green Sustainable Energy, Energy Market and Utilization. Our chairperson is Sadık Erkantan, and he will facilitate the event with the moderators. So I will give the floor to our chairperson, Erkantan, and then Professor Şener Öktek, who is the chairperson of our technical committee, will open the conference. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask me on chat part. So I will give floor to Erkan now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hazal. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to 5th Graduate Student Conference on Energy and Sustainable Development. I'm Erkan, as Hazal mentioned. I am the chairperson of the Graduate Student Conference this year. First of all, I would like to thank my dear professors Volkan Ediger and Şener Öktek and my dear colleagues for their support. In the first session, moderators are Associate Professor Emrah Karaoğuz from International Relations Department in Kadir Has University and Dr. Emre Çelebi from Industrial Engineering Department in Yeditepe University. At the end of each presentation, our moderator will evaluate, and you, dear audience, you can write your questions to the chat part by specifying the person you ask your question. At the end of the presentations, our moderators will ask questions on your behalf in our discussion part. I wish everyone an educational and enjoyable conference. Thank you.
Okay. So Hazal, is this my turn to give a couple of words to participants?
Yes, hocam, please.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to really come to this stage of 5th conference of this good intention between the students, graduate students, to really improve the public perception, scientific perception, academic perception on energy and development. As we all know, there are many parameters we can deal with on energy production and consumption and their impact to us, environment, society. And of course, when you put them together, you come with the idea of a development. So what are the relationship between the energy and development is the subject the graduate student has been really treating last 5 years. I do thank everyone really to start this conference and make it sustainable up to 5th year. And I hope it will go further to really discuss changing environments in energy production and energy consumption, in technology, in politics, in the society's perception. Of course, the development, how we feel about the development. You know, when we say, okay, we are developing as a country, is importing technologies, producing technologies, or are we really using the energy efficiently and wisely? I hope this conference will provide some kind of platform to discuss all those and take the frontier a little bit further to understand what is the relationship, strong relationship between energy and sustainable development. I do thank all the students really putting this conference together, starting from Hazal Mengi, Erkantan, Hakan Aylı, Dimitrios, Karampalis, Polis, Dilara, Gültaş, Salihe, Kaya, and thank you to put all the effort you did for really taking this conference to the reality. Thank you very much. And I also thank to my colleagues really to running the sessions. I will be all ear to listen to you all day, although some of the parts I will be away, but at the end, we'll be together to assess how we progress. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Hocam. Maybe we will start the first session in 10 minutes because we have 10 minutes more. But if anyone wants to say anything, please.
Well, Hazal, I was saying before the conference, probably I should add, there are very nice abstract. I try to read most of them. We need to really encourage those people who really is going to present today through these abstracts. We should encourage them to put in a paper form, and we should really seek for a way of really publishing some of those as a publications of our group.
Yes, it will be good, Hocam. And some of them are their thesis, actually. So maybe they can make some publications later.
Okay, we have to encourage them to publish.
Yes. Volkan Hoca always encourage us to make publications. I know it. Yeah, it will be good for the students and us, actually, not only students.
Actually, the subjects are very sensitive, and there will be lots of interest to any new ideas, new approach, or improving the understanding of that relationship between energy and sustainable development. Doesn't seem in the really scope of the conference, but the society must be addressed more strongly in this sustainable development. How the perception of the society is improving really in that relationship, energy and development.
So, actually, everyone has problem with energy issues right now, both in Turkey and also in the world, actually. So we should be eager to solve the issue firstly. Firstly, for energy security in these years, and then later maybe sustainable development. We should solve the problem with sustainability.
And probably some summary of COP27 must be really discussed at one stage of this conference. So what are the really resolutions, and what were the resolutions before, and how they were followed by the related parties is a good question, really. How the world is really taking this problem seriously.
Emrah Hocam, what do you think about the energy problems in international relations perspective? Maybe we can talk a bit.
I mean, there are so many problems, as Şener Hoca also highlighted, so I agree. I mean, first of all, I also want to encourage you to publish. This is quite important, and there are very nice, abstracts. I really enjoyed reading the abstracts, actually. I mean, secondly, obviously, energy is quite a lot important, especially these days, right? So, I mean, there are so many levels to it, but, at some point we should really be, switching to renewable energy, like as soon as possible. I mean, otherwise, it's really sad to see what is happening, but it's also quite difficult. I mean, what I can say, like climate change, especially, is being considered as a security issue. So it's being discussed in the United Nations as well. I mean, some of the countries are blocking it because they see this not a security issue, but a development issue. I mean, it's both actually, but the thing is like, I mean, what do we prioritize? This is quite important, and obviously it should be sustainable development. So, and on the other hand, it's really a security issue when you think about it, right? So, I mean, there is a lot going on, but I think, like, I agree with Şener Hoca, and I think the, awareness of people have improved considerably, I guess. I mean, I don't know if Şener Hoca would agree, but 50 years ago, when you compare, I mean, today we are in a better shape, I think, in terms of how the society reacts to basically how they demand sustainable development, at least like people, I mean, young generations, I'm very hopeful. So, but I hope it will translate into policy at some point in the future.
Emrah Hoca, there is like a balance really between public perceptions and the politicians.
Yeah.
If the public perception becomes strong and the politicians try to obey, but sometimes, as you can see, and as an example, what's happening in Europe, their roadmap for 1.5-degree business is violated really by reintroducing the coal and reintroducing such and such to really to make the industry happy or the public's comfort really sustainable. It's a bit balanced business, and we have to discuss realistically. We cannot be too romantic either. Really, there's a problem. Just what's the reality and how we can really give something out of our life as far as the energy is concerned. Just and what are the really possible sacrifices we can do as a society? That's another improvement we need in the public perception. Really, when we do not really sacrifice anything, our comfort of our life, how we can really sustain energy demand, etc. These are the points we have to discuss too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I totally agree. Like, I mean, especially there's a political economy dimension to it, right? I mean, lobbying groups and everything. And also we are not going through a time period in which democracy is appreciated a lot in the world. So this is also a problem. But I mean, if change is going to happen, I guess it will be, as you mentioned, it will be, bottom up. I mean, it will be slow perhaps, but I mean, other than that, like, I don't know, it's very sad because as you said, reality is reality. So, countries prioritize development first, but at least the good thing is that the, definition of development is changing. So it's not only economic growth, but there are non-economic indicators also. So, I mean, I hope it will be for the better, but it's difficult. You are absolutely right. I mean, I guess the solution would be technological change, perhaps, but also it's also like, it's not a natural process. I mean, what kind of technology you are looking for is also related to your interests and everything. But I mean, this may be the solution.
Yes, I agree. The global indicators are quite clear, but some countries are trying to, some of the indicators really to avoid them. Some other countries avoid the other indicators, and you can see it's quite a mix, really.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on the country's developed position.
Exactly.
Yes.
So Hazal, it's, I think, 9:30, right?
Yes, it was a good start. So I think we can open the first session, and Erkan will start the session, I think. Thank you very much.
The first presentation will be Mohammed Zohaib presentations. The subject is energy crisis in Pakistan and its possible solutions. I think it will be very interesting.
Hello everyone and good morning. Can you see my screen, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the energy crisis in Pakistan and its possible solution in my presentation, and I'm Mohammed Zohaib. The main purpose of my presentation is that the purpose of the studies behind the purpose of the study is to find out the reason behind the shortfall of energy which we are facing in Pakistan. So I'm checking that how we can find the best solution to solve this problem, because in Pakistan, we have very frequent energy crisis, and the solution, and obviously its solution is a long term, but it's possible. And we are using, for this, I will suggest to the recommenders that I took some graphs and some practical values from the global wind atlas. I will show you it by the end of my presentation. So this is the outline of my presentation. First, I will give some brief information about the problem. Then I will talk about the history and reason of energy crisis and the energy outlook. And at the end, I will give some recommendation and conclude my presentation. So first, energy crisis in Pakistan. So energy is the main asset for social and economic growth because it is very important for the development and the maintenance of today's society. Like in the current century, the most considerable variables are environmental, sustainability, social and economic development. In Pakistan, however, energy demand is always greater than the energy supply, and they are lacking to provide energy demand of the country. I will show you in the graph in the next slide. Because, however, Pakistan is an energy lacking development country of 225 million people. And it's usually referred to the shortage of oil in addition to electricity and other natural sources. So from those, we are getting the energy crisis that we are not fulfilling the oil. We have not that resources in our country. So for that reason, we are facing, sometimes we have we don't have that much enough money. So for those reasons, we are facing these shortages in our countries. This is just for the last, I took one graph. If you look at here, it's showing that in 2010, the demand was 22,000 megawatt and the supply was 17. So from last 25 years, this problem started in our country. We are facing this country, and every 5 years, if you look at here, the demand is increasing, and it is increasing and increasing because when you are focused on the other countries' resources, you don't have that much resources in your own country. So obviously you will face this fluctuation in the supply and demand. There will be a difference between supply and demand every time. What are the main causes of energy crisis? The first one, we'll talk about the economic and political instability. So how it can affect? So it can affect the GDP and the energy growth of the countries. The second one is oil prices. When you don't have oil in your own country, so you are buying oil from the other countries, and the prices are, because of the inflation, the prices are always going high. So in those, you will buy the oil on the high price, and then you have to sell also the electricity. When you convert it for use for the electricity, so definitely you will sell your electricity to people and the high rate also. Distribution system in our country, distribution system are also not that much good there, because 15 to 20% of the energy is also lost in the power distribution system. Aging of the equipment is unable to generate the required electricity, which we need. The electricity is not giving us that much required electricity. Unproductive effect means that they are not having some good seminars and conferences. They are not sitting with the researcher. They are not interested to work in that much in it. So this is the unproductive effect. And mismanagement of the energy resources. So it's mean that the lack of technical knowledge. They don't have that much technical knowledge. They are not focusing on it. So this is not only for Pakistan, all the other countries which are facing the energy crisis. So all these economic and these steps are also imply on them. This is the main energy outlook we have. If you look at here, yes, we have the natural gas because we have a big reservoir in our, in the area of Balochistan in Pakistan, we have a big reservoir of the natural gas. So we are using it for the making of electricity, and also for the domestic use we are making of it. But if I share my own experience, like we are also importing the natural gas from the Iran. Also, we are importing the natural gas because nowadays the gas, we are also facing the breakdown of the gas also in my home. Like in the morning we have in the morning just they will allow 2 hours, then they will cut the gas, and then at the lunch time it will come again, and then they will cut the gas, and then at the dinner time it will come just for 2 hours. So because this is also, we have reservoirs, but the problem is that we are not doing more exploration, so we are just focusing on the old reservoirs. So that's why we are also facing the breakdowns in the natural gas. Oil, we are using 14%, and it's almost from all we are importing. We have a little percent of crude oil, and the rest we are buying from the Middle East countries. Coal, we have a lot of coal, but it's not of good quality, so that's why we are just using so it's not in a good quality in Pakistan, the coal is, so that's why we are also importing coal from the other countries. We are good in only hydro. We are using the hydro. 27% is the hydro we have. This is wind is 4% we have. Biomass also 1% we have. Solar is 1%, and this is the energy outlook. This is, if we count this also, it's gave us the total 100% of the energy we have. So at present, these are the ones, and among these all the wind energy, I will talk about the wind energy because Pakistan has the huge potential in using of the wind energy. This is what I show you. This was the energy outlook of Pakistan, and among all these I will discuss the wind energy because we at Pakistan have a huge potential of wind energy, but they are not using that much of it. So okay, now we have wind energy. So Pakistan has a wind corridor, as well as there is a huge potential to generate electricity from the wind. If you look at here, the numbers that Pakistan can generate 50,000 megawatt from the wind. And if, as we know that it's not possible, it will take a lot of time. But if we reach to that 50,000 megawatts, so definitely we will be out of crisis. But it's not that much easy because it's need a lot of research also. It needs a lot of money, everything. So today my recommendation is about the wind energy, which I will recommend to the that how they can use this wind energy, because they are not focusing that much on the wind energy. They are just relying on the petrol and the natural gas and the coal, which they are importing from the other countries. So now the total contribution which wind is in is the wind is total contribution in our total energy is like 4%, and currently stood at 1,985 megawatts. If we work on it, we can move it to 50,000 megawatt because we have the potential of it. So this is the graph. These are the data which I took from the windatlasglobal.com. If you look at here, that this is Gwadar area. This is one of the area in Pakistan. If we install there, this is a seashore area. So if we install a wind turbine there, if you look just if you look at here, this is just showing us the per meter square can generate 1,195. If you look at here, that the per meter square can generate the 195 watt of energy for us, because we have other area also, but this Gwadar area have more potential in the providing us the energy area, and this is the windiest area we have in the Pakistan. So this is also the wind speed graph and the wind speed rose graph. And the rose graph it's showing that in which direction it's showing us like the values, and the we call it like the compass. So it's showing us the value of how it can work for us. Because Pakistan has the wide range of seashore also with a high potential of wind energy, and according to the global wind, the region of Balochistan is also enriched with the average wind speed of 8.2 meter per second, and the mean power densities, as I show you. If we utilize this gift of the nature, so Pakistan can easily fulfill the energy demand. So this is just the information which I get from this website, that this, if we start to working on this, they are just giving, this is just an example. We are not, for example, we are not, if we want to use this turbine, so they are giving us everything that what you need, what are the requirements, the height, the diameter, and the speed. It will show you everything. This was just for the an example I showed here. That I know it will be not the same type of turbine when the researcher work on it, so they can suggest their own, but this was just I got from that, which I did a little bit research about it. I got this. So these are the information it can give also. It can give also the information to us. And these are my recommendation and conclusion about that, the most promising domestic energy source is wind we have, because in Pakistan, wind energy potential is very high we have. And this global wind interest data is also very important for us. It can help a lot to us. And the coastal area of Pakistan has more potential of wind energy. Pakistan has real energy crisis, and it affects all the daily life, industries, economic, social life. And we can solve this problem by increasing the share of wind energy, because it is the most significant energy source of the country. So we have to focus on this. We are recommending this way they have to work on the wind energy and how we can improve it, because then we have to install some more wind turbines for it, because now only we have 4% we are using. If we increase these wind turbines, so it can give us more, it can help us in more generating the more energy. So we will less rely on the importing of oil and natural gas from the other countries. So it's not that much easy. It will take time, but if they start working on it, so hopefully it will work. So this was all up from my presentation. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you, Mohammed. I will present again our moderators. Moderators in the first session are Associate Professor Emrah Karaoğuz from International Relations Department in Kadir Has University, and Dr. Emre Çelebi from Industrial Engineering Department in Yeditepe University. Emre Hocam, would you like to evaluate first presentation?
Yeah, sure. So thank you for the presentation, Mohammed. The abstract was also nice. So I will share my screen, but I will have to stop yours if it's okay. All right. So basically, so in your abstract, first I will comment on the abstract. I think in the first part of the abstract, you nicely introduced the topic, which is there is an energy crisis in Pakistan, and what should be done to address this problem. And then you say, so this paper will review renewable energy sources, discuss how they can, help to solve this problem. But now after the presentation, this is more about wind, I think, right?
Yeah.
So basically you can more specifically write it like that. And actually one of the goals of this research is to advise policymakers, right?
Yeah.
How they can, deal with this problem. On that point, my recommendation would be like, policymakers are usually interested in best practices in the world.
Yeah.
So if you can find, let's say, some similar countries which face similar problems and how they solve that problem somehow, so it would be really nice to basically demonstrate policymakers how they may proceed. So this may be one approach to further this research. And also after your presentation, what you may look at if you are going to turn this into a publication is like, so you can check, let's say, official documents, what the Pakistan, you know, what is the action plan of policymakers, what they are planning to do. Like, you can give a comprehensive review about this. So I'm sure there should be some key policy documents, right? So what is the plan? What are they trying to do? How do they elaborate on this problem? You can focus on in your paper on this. You can look at perhaps the reports of some international organizations on this topic. Are there any advices? You know, you can check this. And most importantly, you can check the literature actually. So what do the scholars say about this issue? So I think, like, if you look at these resources, then you know, you may actually extend on this research. It's very relevant. So it was really nice reading the abstract. The presentation was also nice. So good luck with your future research.
Thank you so much, Emre.
Maybe Emre Hocam, you can continue.
Okay, thank you. Mohammed, thank you for this presentation. It was interesting to see the problems in Pakistan, actually. I just want to make it clear that you are talking about the power industry, I guess, only the power electrical energy side, I guess. You should probably make this clear, actually, because the whole energy versus the electricity is different. And in your presentation, as far as I could understand, it was electricity mostly. And second thing is actually you focus on wind, but are there any other potentials, let's say, for solar or other renewables like biomass? These are usually overlooked, but I would say biomass is also something you can consider. As well as solar. These are really important resources. And on the other hand, if you would like to convince actually policymakers about wind or solar or any renewable, it's better to put this into, I would say, mostly in nowadays in energy models. So mathematical formulations and models that would basically make some sort of forecast about the future demand, as well as getting different, I would say, technologies into account and make a techno-economic model. And most of these models are now open source, so access some for Pakistan even. And those models usually direct policymakers in some cases, of course, not all in all countries, but in many countries actually now they are looking into those. In COP27, for example, there was a session on open source modeling and assessment models as well. So so it's getting more and more attracting more scholars actually. Therefore, you can find actually resources on those issues, so you can maybe expand your research to that direction later on. So these are my comments actually. Thank you very much again for your presentation.
Thank you so much.
Can I say a couple of words really on this presentation, if I am allowed?
Sure, hocam.
Okay. Mohammed, thank you very much for your presentation. I understood that you have selected wind energy for the future solution for electricity production of Pakistan, or solve the problem. Okay, for this, I'd like to hear, is there any domestic attempt or any production of any components of wind energy or related fields in Pakistan? Is there anything, anyone, any company producing any component of wind energy sector? I'd like to hear that one in the paper, really, if you are really putting forward the wind as a solution, probably your paper should include what is the situation today and what will the projection of Pakistan for the future for producing some of the components domestically. Thank you.
So about the components that we have not producing that much components, like we have only installed some of it, and that is installed by the Turkish, I think the name is the Zorlu Energy Company, and they have installed the wind turbine, which we are using for it. So we are not sure have that much components. So we are also, if they are installing the components, so we are also focusing on the, for example, we are taking the help of the other countries. So I know it's not that much easy. It will take a lot of time. So we have to work on it.
Probably a couple of words on the incentives in Pakistan for renewables. If you are really concentrating on the wind, might be useful in your paper. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. The second presentation is from Salihe Kaya. The topic is Turkey and Ukraine between Russia and the EU. It is also a very interesting title. Screen is yours, Salihe.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Erkan. I will try. Is okay?
Yes,
Okay.
Salihe, but you can make maybe full screen. Yes, it's okay now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. Hello, my professors. I'm Salihe Kaya from Kadir Has University. This is my last term and I write my thesis. But this topic is so different about my thesis. My thesis is about oil, but I want to focus on the natural gas because I miss lots of paper. And I want to read papers about natural gas, and for that reason, I want to choose this topic because we have an energy crisis in these days, especially in the EU, and because of the Russia and the Russia policy. And I want to focus on the Turkey. And when I write my thesis, when I write my abstract, I just focus on the Russia-Ukraine crisis and what's the impact of the Turkey, because we know that Turkey is the between Russia, European Union country, and it's like a bridge, but we cannot say it's bridge. We want to say it's hub, yani. And I will explain what is the hub. But when we compare my abstract and my presentation, is a little bit different because in my presentation I just focus on the hub terminology. For that reason, maybe my abstract and my presentation a little bit is different. My table of content is Turkey and Russia gas outlook. I just focus on. I cannot say many things about the numbers. I just show you a little bit gas outlook for Russia and Turkey. Also, I just say something about the Russia invasion of Ukraine. I cannot say it's war because Russia almost invade of Ukraine. And Turkey will be transit country between Russia and Ukraine. And also this transit country is also dangerous words because there is a difference. I will explain also because there's a difference between transit, hub, corridor like this. And I will try to explain what is the hub, and also I will ask, can Turkey become an energy hub? And also I will conclude my thesis. My presentation, I'm sorry. And there's a 3 question here. I take these 3 questions from, I think it's Atlantic Consult paper. There's a good question because we have to know that what's the difference between energy hub, gas hub, because we don't know anything, maybe experts, but lots of people don't know anything about terminology, differences between terminology, because energy hub, gas hub, corridor, transit, it's almost different things. And when you see, I will try to explain to you. There are lots of news about energy hub, gas hub, but I think that we need to know the exact meaning of the gas hub or energy hub. And I will explain, I try to explain three questions. Can Turkey become energy hub? Can Turkey become a Russian gas hub? And the second one is most important. And can Turkey still become an energy hub without Russia? Before, I just focus on the Turkey and Russia gas outlook. Firstly, I just show to you the map of the pipeline of the Turkey. I get from the BOTAŞ website this map, and you see that there are lots of our pipeline. And the red one, this is the red one, is our TANAP project. Maybe you heard that. And also this one is the Turkish stream. It's very important because in these days, when Putin said, "I want to be Turkey will be the energy hub between Russia and Europe," and everything is become for after this pipeline, because it's very important, because it's come from under the sea, and it's directly to go from Turkey to European countries. And this is also from Azerbaijan, come from TANAP, come from the Turkey, draw Turkey to Europe. Yani, some of them is said, yani, this is we are look like bridge, but some of them is say that no, we will be energy hub like this. But when we look at the discuss for the TANAP, lots of people say, yani, we just only corridor between West and East countries. And for that reason, we need to be very careful, because when I will explain, the energy hub meaning, it's different. Yani, it's different from the corridor. And here you see the Turkey natural gas market by years. I get this data from the EPDK. Here you see import. Our production is so small, I cannot say anything about production and export parts, but our import is day by day, year by year. Some years is decreased, but some years, generally we said that our import is increased. And last year we import 58.7 million centimeter cube from the other countries, especially Russia, Iran, and Azerbaijan. And also you see that in the last line is our consumption. You see our consumption also increase. Some years also decrease. It's about a political, about economic situation. It's not important, but generally we see that our consumption is higher than our import. And Turkey, maybe next year, it's not good scenario for economy, but I think that it will be increased year by year, our natural gas consumption, because the economy, the industry sector will increase. And now I just want to say something about the Turkey position when Russia invaded the Ukraine. And I see that, I say before, Turkey already must host multiple natural gas pipelines from Russia, Azerbaijan, and Iran. And when we look at Turkey's position between Russia and Ukraine, Turkey always stay in the intermediary country, because Turkey is a NATO member, and they cannot want to be a part of a country, because the other side is United States, this side is Russia, China, and they want to stay in the intermediary. And also Turkey serves as a vital transit corridor for the key resources like energy, because when we look at the map, Turkey here in the west side is there's a big suppliers, in the east side there's a big demand countries, and we are in the middle, and we need to be a right political decision between these countries. And Turkey don't accept also West sanction for the Russia. Also, he they want to stay with Ukraine also, because we are dependent on the Russian natural gas. And it's not possible to say Russia, you are guilty like this. And 44, maybe 45% our natural gas come from Russia. Also, European side is dependent on the Russia, and the Russia, we can say that clearly Russia can use energy like a weapon. It's true, and they don't ignore this one, and Russia also don't ignore this. For that reason, we can stay in the middle, yani. And when we look at Russia is the world's second largest producer of natural gas after the United States, and the world's largest gas reserves and world's largest gas exporter. This is so important, world's largest gas exporter. And their economy, when we generally criticize the Middle East countries, they depend on the oil, their revenue is come from only for oil. But when we look at the Russia is also same, because their economy, maybe 900% is dependent on their energy revenue. And they are the world's largest gas export. It's very big potential for their economy, and for that reason, European Union section can affect their economy, and for that reason they change way draw the China, because and they sell their natural gas to China is very cheap. And also Professor Dr. Volkan Hoca said before, he said, yani, the best lucky country in this position in China, because he buy from Russia in very cheap natural gas. And you see that in the last step, 2021, yani last year, Russia produced 762 BCM of natural gas and exported them is 210 BCM via pipeline, only pipeline, because Russia also exports their natural gas via LNG. As we know, LNG via the sea, you can without pipeline, you can send your you can transfer your pipeline to faraway countries also. And I think that, yeah, I'm not sure what's the number, but in this via pipeline 210 BCM is almost go to European countries. And he's also, I want to show Russian natural gas outlook. Total energy supply in 2019, you see that 55% is gas, come from gas, and only 70% is from oil. And I think it's this number 55% is not decreased almost, yeah, in the last 2 years. It's still same. Also, natural gas export by destination, we see that the green area is OECD countries and European countries. Yeah, the European countries is big customer for the Russia, and Russia don't want to lose this country, and for that reason he can. Yeah, sometimes he says about nuclear weapon like this, but I don't think so. Yeah, he don't want to use this big customer, I think that. And also, when we look at the big map, big window, yani, gas exporting countries in 2021 by export type, you see that Russia is the first country I mentioned before, and the blue one is the pipeline. The dark blue one is the LNG exports. You see that is higher than the United States, but next future, yeah, near future, maybe thanks to LNG, maybe United States will be the first rank. I'm not sure, but it's look like this. And here, I just want to show you a map. Russian invasion of Ukraine. I don't want to say anything about, because we see that the Ukrainians problem. There are lots of bad things we watch, and 7 billion people displaced their place, and also it's true, I'm not sure, but 13,000 people died because of this war. It's very bad. The red line is for Russia. The blue way is blue side is about Ukraine army, I think. Yes, army. and they try to fight with Russia, but what will be end, I'm not sure, but it's very bad it's a very bad situation for. And for my abstract, I also focus on this one, yani, because Ukraine is the bridge between, I cannot say is hub, because Ukraine is the only, I think that it's only bridge between Russia and United States, I'm sorry, European Union, because we see that also 2003 and 2005, also there's a big crisis between Russia and Russia and Ukraine, because they closed their pipeline, and there's a big crisis for the European Union winter's time. And Ukraine, like a baby girl, they cannot. I think that, yeah, it's my opinion. They cannot make a good policy thanks to this position. And I want to say also for Turkey, yani, we can. For that reason, my abstract title is this. Yani, Turkey maybe it's a new Ukraine or not. Yani, we have to be very careful. Okay, Russia says there are lots of Russian people live in the Ukraine. It's my reason to invade Ukraine, but it's not true. Yani, it's about energy, I say. And when we look at the energy side, Turkey also will be very careful about their policy. And 13 October 2022, Putin said, if there is interest from Turkey and our potential buyers from other countries, we could consider the possibility of building another gas pipeline system and creating a gas hub in Turkey to sell the other countries to third countries like European, primarily of course European, if they are interested. Yani, he make a gift maybe for us like this, yani, but already we buy from them natural gas via pipeline, and but in this step, in this way, they see, Russia say that I have lots of options. One of them is Turkey. But when we look at I show you, and look at the news after this day, after the 13th of October, there are lots of paper or news I see, and you see, can you see that? Yani, Russian energy hub, gas hub, like there's lots of terminology, lots of different title you can see. And also when we look at from Turkey side, it's a good news for us, of course. Okay, it's good news, but we need to be very careful, because I will explain what's the energy hub, because only if we will like, it will be very bad future for us. I try to say that. And gas hub or energy hub, also I get these sentences from news, an article, I think. He said, I'm sorry, what's the difference between gas hub and energy hub? The core psychology of the energy hub is based some pillars. It's diversification of existing routes and suppliers. Yani, not one supplier and one demand. There are lots of supplier and demand in the same market. Independence on decision making through the independent institution, market demand and supply that determine prices. This is so important, and we some experts critiques this time, because it's very important. If you don't determine prices in your country, it will not be hub. You only be corridor or transit country. And political will be potential patterns get involved in the projects. On the contrary, a gas hub is, if we only import from the Russian natural gas and drove Turkey this go to the European countries, I think we only be the gas hub between Russia and United States, European Union, I'm sorry, West countries. And we need to be very careful about the words, energy hub or gas hub. Gas hub is so micro, and when we look at the energy hub, it's a macro terminology. What is the hub? That's my topic. I want to say something about hub. Before, I want to show you its traditional gas market. You see that the production import part, and the traders, supplier, and end supplier. You can see so simple, and always for it's simple between Russia and Turkey, or Turkey and Iran or Azerbaijan. Is that they produce, trader, and we are the supplier, and they are the supplier, and we are the end supplier, and we are the households and industry. I'm sorry. But here it's an organized market. You see the blue part. There are organized markets. Many sellers and many buyers have, and there is a price. In this blue area, the price is determined, and many sellers and buyers here. There are lots of competitors here, and the end sellers buy from who it's the buyer's decision. It's not dependent on the two countries. You can buy like electrification in Turkey. When the electrification liberalized, you cannot just only depend on the one company. Lots of companies, you can buy their electricity from them like this. You can think like this. And what is the hub? My main question is that the supply coming from more than one point, gathering at one point, and distribution multiple. Many supplier, many demand, many buyers here. The feature is competitive price here, flexibility, transparency, and contribution to financial trading. It's good because when we look at the liberalization of gas market, the aim of the liberalization is improve the financial trading also. Two types of the hub, physical hub and virtual hub, sanal hub we said also. Physical hub is a natural gas trade takes place at an actual point where physical lines intersect. The terms of trade are influenced by the characteristic of the region where the hub is located. For example, Henry Hub and Zeebrugge in Belgium. The Henry Hub is very famous. We know that when we look at the natural gas prices, not always, almost we see the Henry Hub gas prices. And here, the Henry Hub gas, the Henry Hub prices map, you see that the United States, and here in Henry Hub places, you see that the whole line is pipelines. And when we look at our map, Turkey map, you can see the difference. And Henry Hub is natural gas pipeline and distribution hub located in USA, and the prices are donated in USD per million and British thermal units. And you see that also virtual hub also, there is a difference than physical hub. Virtual hub, all energy trade take place in a hypothetical region. It's not real region. A grid connection must be adequate. The best example of the virtual hub is NBP and TTF. NBP from England, also it's very famous, and also TTF from Netherlands. Why I explained to them, because we need to be, we have to know this one, because when we look, if we want to be energy hub, we have to like this system or company. I'm not sure hub, it's not like corridor or trans country. It's not only draw pipeline countries. It's not. We have to have this company, this system. Also, you see that through European gas regions, market and hubs, 2009 map. You see that the MBP and TTF is very old and very mature market, and the active old is GPL, NCG, like this. There are lots of, you can see that there are lots of hub in the European side also, and in many years ago they published, they set up, and in front of now we still discuss. We will be energy hub, transit hub, corridor, like this. we need to take a step. It's reality, and it's too late for us. I think that, because our position, our geopolitical position is very good. It's very stable for. It's very stable for these company, like this system. And I want to explain. I see that for the virtual gas hub, I want to say something about TTF. It's from Belgium. TTF is helping reach the greatest number of the product types. Also, there's a competitor between also this hub, TTF, MBP. For that reason, normally MBP is very common, but TTF is the rise traded volumes at the TTF is higher than the MBP. Yani, it's unfamiliar. This terminology, this type is unfamiliar for us, but we have to know that. And also, you can say that there are lots of hub in European countries, and you see that after 2017, TTF is higher than the TTF prices is higher than the MBP prices, and generally chose the TTF prices about natural gas when we look at the natural gas prices in European side. And corridor, yeah, I mentioned before what's the corridor, what's transit, and what's the hub. Corridor energy prices are set by the buyer and seller, and like Turkey and Russia. The country where the energy is transferred only acts as the bridge. This is corridor. The transit price are set by also the same like corridor. Price are set by the buyer and seller, but the control of the well of the transferred gas belongs to the country, like Ukraine. And it's also so dangerous for us, I think that. But the hub, physical and virtual centers where a large number of buyer and sellers can come together. That's we want like this. Yani, many years we still discuss corridor transit hub, but it's so clear. Yani, we have to be hub, and the conditions is. The white papers of the hub like this, it's very clear. Yani. We can think that we can focus on this one. And we cannot think the government's policy. Yani. We have to go in another way to be a hub, energy hub. And my main question is, can Turkey become energy hub? Turkey's desire to play a major role in regional energy infrastructure. Also, okay, we know the country's location on the intersection of multiple hydrocarbon pipelines is the main definition for the Turkey geographical position. Okay, we know there is a big buyer and big seller. We are between them. However, for it to succeed as energy hub, Russian gas cannot be a key part of the plan. Of course. For our portfolio, our energy portfolio, you mean because we don't have energy sources enough, we have to buy, we have to import them, but not only dependent on the one or two countries. We can be multiple countries. But when we look at the Akkuyu nuclear site, we cannot say anything because it's again Russia. And I want to say something for like recommendation. It's not my maybe, but I can say something. Turkey should take steps to become a country where energy prices are determined rather than a country where gas is transferred through pipelines. It's important. Yani, Turkey need to be placed. Energy prices are determined. And my conclusion Russia's Ukraine. When we look at Russia side, they loses Ukraine, but they want to gain Turkey, and Turkey think that the most reliable, and they think that the Turkey most reliable partner for gas deliveries to Europe. Also, Europe think that, I think, and to create gas hub in Turkey to export gas to Europe. But I'm sorry, I write here gas hub, but it's not true. It's energy hub to create energy hub in Turkey to export gas to the Europe. But not is only our aim to only transfer the gas to Europe. And also, we need to be a partner in another Mediterranean, also Middle East countries. And thank you very much for your attention. This is my thesis. This is my presentation, and thank you so much. I hope I so messed some words, but I try to explain something very important to me. I think that I hope countries or policymakers make a good go in a right way to about energy hub.
Thank you very much, Salihe. This time, first, Emre Hocam, maybe you can want to evaluate.
Okay, thank you very much. Salihe, thank you for this great presentation. So it's the topic that I was also interested in very much. Of course, from the perspective of international relationship and other points, I think Emrah Hocam would maybe contribute more. But as you mentioned, actually, you make a very clear distinction between this virtual hub and physical hub. Yes. So, and I believe it's important. Turkey, with its current pipeline setup, as far as I could see, is, as you mentioned, it's like a corridor, not even I would say transit point or a hub, because of this. We have this Trans-Anatolian pipeline that is connected to Trans-Adriatic, which goes to Italy, actually. And there is actually a price setting mechanism there, an active market, as well as we have also these Turkish and blue streams from Russia, which are already connected to export locations, actually. So it seems clearly we don't really collect the gas or we set up the prices, definitely. We are simply seem like a corridor at this point, and it's a nice analogy actually that you make it with Ukraine. Actually, Ukraine was in a similar situation when they try to actually change their position and, let's say, increase their consumption or cut off some of these gas pipelines. There was lots of issues, I remember, in 2000, later 2010s and so on. And it was a big issue for European Union as well. So if you would like to, I would say maybe a sort of like a good analogy, actually. You can compare what Ukraine has done earlier before this invasion and other, when they really actually cut off some of these gas or there were issues with pipelines or with their payments to Russia, and how does Russia react to that? How the European Union reacts to that? That's a nice area. I mean, a point to look into, because of this analogy would be the same for Turkey, I would say, as a corridor or as a transit point, I would say later on. But that's really important. And the second thing that I really liked in your presentation was about the physical hub that you show in the Henry hub, like how it is evolved and how you can see the map actually, and it's really connected to all sorts of other places, and it's a very meshed network actually. But when we look at the Turkish side, as I mentioned, there are some corridors actually, and they name it as corridor actually. This TANAP as well as the Turkish stream are, in most cases, they call it as corridor. And as you mentioned, corridor is nothing but just pass through. You just look at the gas, and you're right about the issue that the gas markets has to evolve. Unfortunately, we just opened our gas market recently, last year, through this energy exchange, actually, Istanbul. But the volumes are not high there yet, but it's a good start, definitely. But as you mentioned, we are a bit late. There are lots of mature markets around us. And in order to reach to that level, I think we should work much harder to attract more investors here. That will be definitely something we should look into. And therein, the transparency and other issues comes into play. You also set those important features of a hub very clearly. Yeah, it's good to see that you had this
Thank you so much.
Great analogy about with the Ukraine as well. So I enjoyed
Thank you so much, Mr. Emre. So much. If I write a paper about this abstract, I will add a part before the historical part of the Ukraine, where they begin, and what's the new position. I will explain, inshallah, if I write a paper.
Yeah, that would be great.
Thank you.
Emre Hocam.
Okay, Salihe, nice presentation. So I will again share the abstract. I mean, I will talk a little bit. So basically in the abstract, I see two, questions. The first question is basically whether Turkey is becoming an energy hub poses risks for Turkey, right? This was the question. The second one, what Turkey needs to do to become an energy hub.
Yes.
So these are two different questions. First of all, I think you will, if this is going to be a paper, because these are two different questions, we will focus, one of it. Okay. But I mean, if I didn't understand wrong, what I felt this risk is the Russian invasion, I think, no?
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Do you mean that?
Yes, I mean that. Yes, I mean
but
that.
I think I'm not entirely sure because here you say, everyone knows that the main reason behind the invasion was energy. I'm not sure actually. So that there's so many IR issues going on there. So I think you can check that. I mean, you can take a position, but I mean that perhaps, I mean, if it is the only risk.
No, it have many advantage. It had many advantage, but we need to be very careful. And I want to say this. I want to look at this part. We need, because everyone is very happy like this, and also I want to say also we have a risk. You can see also this part.
Yeah, but I think it would be better if when you say we have to be careful, not perhaps against invasion, but so many disadvantages that comes with not becoming a hub, perhaps, right? So perhaps you can elaborate on that, because perhaps you should downgrade this a little bit, because I think you have a richer a much wider concerns that's going on. So perhaps you can kind of think about it. And when it comes to presentation, I mean, first of all, as a technical issue, at the beginning of the presentation, you strongly emphasized the importance of definitions, but the definitions came very long, it was in the middle of the presentation. So just for all of you, my advice would be just at the very beginning, if definitions are important, just, tell them. I mean, this is just a minor issue, but it's a little bit important. And again, actually, Mohammed, what I would suggest is what is actually Turkey's plan on this? So what do policymakers think about this? So you can check official documents, the action plans, because at the end of the day, you will give recommendations, right? So, I mean, first of all, you need to tell the reader, what is going on, what is the plan, what do they think about these issues, and how do you agree or disagree? And then you can actually put forward your elaboration. And especially, I strongly suggest, also applies to Mohammed, you should do a literature review on this issue. I mean, especially the IR perspective, you should, look at it, what does the Russia-Ukraine war mean for Turkey? I mean, especially in terms of energy and stuff. So this is another issue, but you have a very relevant, I think, very timely topic. You can definitely, work on it. So if you, I mean, these are some of the, issues that you may consider. And I also agree with Emre Hoca, so you have a nice, again, topic. The analogy is good. Definitions are important, but you can make it richer, I think.
Okay, thank you so much, Emrah Hocam. I take my notes and I will be careful about this presentation types. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Salihe. It was a very successful presentation. Şener Hocam, would you like to say something or maybe pass the next presentation?
Okay, actually, that's quite nice, but all colleagues made comments. But one thing I agree with, actually, Emrah, to really present something, you need to really go through very thoroughly in the policies existing in the official documents.
Yes.
It's a bit missing there. Thank you.
Yes. I'm sorry. Okay, I will be careful for the next presentation. Thank you so much for your comments.
Thank you, Salihe.
Okay.
Yes, the last presentation of this session from Dimitrios Karampalis. The topic is analysis of Greek press on energy issues in the Eastern Mediterranean region. I think it's also a very interesting topic because we generally follow the Turkish perspective, and he will illustrate us the Greek perspective. The screen is yours, Dimitrios.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me, see me correctly, and also the presentation. Okay, so my name is Dimitrios Karampalis, a student from Greece at the National Kapodistrian University of Athens, currently in Istanbul, since I'm performing an internship at the Center of Energy and Sustainable Development at the Kadir Has University. The main topic, as you can all see on your screens, is an analysis of Greek press on energy issues in the Eastern Mediterranean region. For that purpose, I have picked two newspapers from Greece that gave me access on their printed archive, two of the largest, very prestigious, higher in sales. The first one is Καθημερινή and the second one is Naftiboriki. The first one is more of a political newspaper. Okay, and the two newspapers that we have decided, and we did the research on their printed archive with some different keywords, all related to energy issues on the Eastern Mediterranean. We focus only on this region, which consists of the countries you can all see on this map. We have Greece, Turkey, Cyprus, Syria, Lebanon, the West Bank of the Palestinian Authority, Israel, Egypt, and we could also include Libya and Italy on our regions. We will only focus on these ones. This is the only reason that concerns us. Here is our main graph. This is where we used on both of these newspapers the keyword Eastern Mediterranean and gas. First of all, I would like to notice that here on 2018, there is a problem on the printed archive of the newspapers. So this is the reason we don't have any articles about anything, regardless of the keywords that we used. We start from 1997, which is the first year that we had articles from both of the newspapers. I think some years before that, we found articles in Naftiboriki, I think, but never mind, there were a few. We can see that it's not a continuous rise, a graphic rise. We have ups and downs, which I was very curious at first about. It's in both of the newspapers, and the peak years that we have chosen, that you will also see later, are 2007, 2011, 2014, 2017, and 2020. These are the years that we can see that we have the highest rises, the peak years, on both of the newspapers that we did our research in. And this was very interesting. Then moving on, it is our second graph. Here we used only one newspaper, Καθημερινή, and we used 5 different keywords, all related to Eastern Mediterranean, all related to energy. The first one is Eastern Mediterranean and oil, exploration, drilling, exploitation, and gas. They are all related to energy and Eastern Mediterranean, although there are different subjects. We can find an article that consists of all the 5 of them, but we can see that although they are different, we have the same rises, the same ups and downs. And here is more transparent than in the previous one. And also we have the same peak years as we said before. It's 2011, 2014, 2017, and 2020. Especially here we have a very big rise on the Eastern Mediterranean and exploration one. So this way we show that first of all, there is a rise on energy-related articles on the Greek press, on the Greek newspapers, and also there is a rise on the interest of the people. Of course, those who buy those newspapers, who have the largest sales in Greece, and they are the most prestigious. And then what I did was I searched the articles one by one, and on those peak years that we said before, and I tried to categorize the subjects of each one. Of course, those weren't the only subjects that they were issued on those articles, but those were the more hot topics of those peak years that we said before. Starting from 2007, we have Cyprus-Lebanon delimitation, exclusive economic zone delimitation. It was the second delimitation on the Eastern Mediterranean after the Cyprus and Egypt in 2003. And we also had the first licensing round offshore Cyprus with the reaction from Turkey. Especially the reaction from Turkey had many articles, especially about this thing. That's why we have to include it also here. On 2011, we have some new discoveries of reserves deposits in Cyprus and Israel. I think in 2010, it was the Leviathan deposit in Israel, and the following year, it was the Aphrodite. Two deposits are very close to each other, and this way, the discussion between the two countries began. And this tripartite relationship was built with the aid of Greece. And then there were some researches, exploration in the exclusive economic zone of Cyprus, which also had some reactions from Turkey. In 2014, we have the Greek-Cyprus-Egypt trilateral summit. It was their first trilateral summit, so we see that after Israel, we see also Egypt coming in this energy cooperation game with Greece and Cyprus. Also the East Med pipeline. By East Med, I mean the pipeline has already started to become a hot topic. And then we have the Crimea crisis that happened, and the importance of the Eastern Mediterranean possible reserves. The exclamation mark right here, it's because we see a similar situation right now, where we have another Russian invasion in Ukraine. Again, the EU is trying to become independent from Russian gas and Russian natural resources, and Eastern Mediterranean is again a region that is provided as a solution to this problem. And the following year, it was a signing of a memorandum of understanding related again to the Eastern Mediterranean pipeline between the four countries, some exploration licenses, and the trilateral cooperation with Egypt and Israel. I think especially after 2014, we see that the trilateral cooperation with those two countries is a really hot topic on the articles that were written in that period due to the importance of them for Greece. And in 2020, we come closer to today's date. We have East Med and the East Med Gas Forum that was an organization established in this date between countries of the Eastern Mediterranean and others like Jordan and France for their energy cooperation. had the 3+1 cooperation with, which means Greece, Cyprus, Israel, with the aid of the United States. We had in this, in 2020, we had Mike Pompeo, who went to the trilateral summits, and they were helping a lot on this relationship. Then also the Greek-Egypt partial exclusive economic zone delimitation, which came some months after the delimitation between the Turkish Republic and Libya, the memorandum of understanding. And finally, the Oro Trace crisis, which was a 35-day crisis between the two countries. And the two armies were in alarm for a period this period in the summer, due to a high mobilization of Navy across the Eastern Mediterranean. Those were the two newspapers that we used, Καθημερινή Αυτοπορική, and I think that's the end of the presentation.
Thank you, Dimitrios. Emre Hocam, would you like to start this time?
Yeah. Okay. So, Dimitri, you have a very nice topic. But I think, like, reading the abstract again, so basically what you are saying, I'm going to analyze, Greek press, on energy issues in the East Mediterranean region. So basically, then you say my goal is to demonstrate the rise of energy-related issues in the Greek press, right? But I think this shouldn't be your objective, I mean, like, you will see this, you will observe this, but I think what is more exciting is, like, how do they frame all these issues, right? I mean, how do these newspapers frame it? I mean, how do they explain? What do they explain? I mean, you can analyze it from many different perspectives. I mean, I don't know, like, it can be about nationalism, it can be about more IR-related issues. I mean, like, how do these newspapers frame it, right? So basically just saying that, they pay more, attention wouldn't be that much. I mean, I think you can do much more, analysis than that. You can go beyond, like, how these newspapers frame all these issues. But for that, you should definitely use discourse analysis or content analysis. So these are two different methods. It can be either, but you should use them basically for you to, analyze how they frame the issue. But also a minor, an important point, you say Greek press, right? But these two newspapers don't represent the whole Greek press, right? So you should be careful about this. So you cannot generalize to the Greek press by looking at two newspapers, although it's very nice that you justify why you focus on these newspapers, highest sales numbers and everything. But if you would be interested in, like, researching how these newspapers frame the issues, then you may select newspapers from different, newspapers that have different ideologies or political views. Let's say you may look at the opposition, or you can look at some newspapers who are more like, left, right, pro-government, anti-government, stuff like this. Perhaps you may also compare how different type of newspapers frame the issue differently or similarly. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, there is so much to play with it, with this idea, like how the press frames all these issues. You can look at the changes over time, continuities. You can focus on one particular project, perhaps, because, like, what will be the time period, right? I think you will need to reduce your scope a little bit. It shouldn't be too broad, right? But I think a discourse or content analysis like that would be very interesting, I thought. But obviously you should check the literature again, if there are any studies on this, how the media frames it, kind of issue. But this would be my recommendation. I mean, so I think this would be a promising research, but it can be extended on so many different levels. It's up to you. But you may check discourse or content analysis. I think these can be your methods.
Hocam, thank you very much. Actually, Dimitri is our intern. and we try to make research and compare the countries, Egypt, Turkey, and Greece. So your comments are so valuable for us because we try to arrange a research article.
But then you are going to compare the press in 3 different countries, how they frame exactly the same issue, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. But then for Greece, for Turkey, you don't have language problems. But for the other cases, do you know people who know the language?
Yes, we have another intern. She's from Egypt. So
Perfect.
we will compare 3 countries if we can.
Yeah, this would be really nice, actually. I mean, then you may pick 1 newspaper from each country, or 2 or 3 newspapers from each country. Again, different, spectrum, different political views and stuff, and then compare how they frame it. But be careful in your examination. You will be looking at how newspapers frame them. So not how the entire press or the country, right? It's not Turkey, but it's that particular newspaper.
Yes.
So, but that would be a very nice comparative research, I think. It would be really nice. But check discourse or content analysis.
Yes, we will try to arrange for a theoretical framework. Thank you very much.
I mean, there are 2 softwares that you can use. One is NVivo. The other one is MaxQda. These are the 2 most frequently used softwares, I think. Also, you may keep that in mind because you will need, I think it would be much more systematic if you use a software to analyze. Like, you can also do quantitative content analysis as well, like which words do they use and stuff like this, and also the qualitative part.
Maybe we can use next year. Yeah, thank you very much.
Emre Hocam.
Yeah, I think Emre Hocam actually put it really clearly. That's one thing I would love to see as well, because you mentioned actually, Dimitrios, about the peak events and based on several keywords actually. But the content sometimes is maybe different than those. That's something maybe you should look into, as Emre Hoca suggested. And another issue is actually, you mentioned, Hazal mentioned actually, the Egypt. Well, I don't know why Egypt is included. So is it because of the relationship between Turkey, Egypt, and the Greece? Let's say if you can extend it to other countries in the region, or those are some future research area, or Cyprus maybe something you can take a look into. Maybe it may be relevant, but I'm not sure. So again, for Egypt, for example, I would say most of the exploration in that or gas issues, one of the most active actually country in that region is Egypt actually. Maybe that's the reason I was a bit reluctant actually to look into Egypt, because they might have lots of news that is not related to Turkey and Greece, but to their own exploration for gas and other things. They have lots of companies who are active in that area currently, and they find gas reserves very much. Maybe that's something you should also consider. So you have to eliminate those news from the others and look specifically for Greece and Turkish keywords. So that's one thing. As I mentioned, like other countries, Israel and maybe Libya and other states that are involved would be a good area to look into. But it's important to quantify some of these ideas before connecting the dots actually. Like you can see, definitely there are some peak events, but whether they are really related to those keywords in that region. And one way to do that is maybe using some word cloud and other visualizations to show actually the relationship. And content analysis would be much better though, but starting with that maybe it will be a good point or good, I would say, starting point. So those are mostly my comments. Thank you very much again.
Very much for everyone. The first session is already done, and we have a break until 11:15. And see you in 15 minutes later.
Thank you very much, the moderators especially. See you soon.
Okay, bye. Very nice presentations and abstracts. So bye.
Goodbye. Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Bye.